Hello, fellow mutants. Many times I've mentioned here on my channel how copper rounds could be heated and annealed to be used for their raw material in a pinch with simple tools you'd have after the apocalypse. But it's one thing to say something and another to do it. Would this inexpensive chimney-style charcoal starter provide enough heat to anneal and soften copper, so a copper round could be hammered out into something else and something useful? Wait and see. Hello, fellow mutants. I've been wanting to do this for a while, although I was anticipating doing it in my fire pit. It occurred to me that I could kill two birds with one stone if I could just use the charcoal I'm already going to use for barbecuing in a little chimney and throw my crucible in there. Of course, I didn't know how hot it would get, but...
Well, I did notice that the color is changing. I had a very dark copper color previously, and now it has lightened up a bit, and I can't get to the bottom to see what the other one has how the other one has changed yet. But it's definitely really, really hot in there. I'm not sure if how hot it is actually compared to the direct contact of an oxy-acetylene torch.
As I said before, I really didn't know what to expect using one of these charcoal starter chimneys. You know, this brand here is a Weber. But as you can see, the copper round that I put in there started to turn a nice bright red. And it was something I was able to take out then later and, of course, dip into this glass bowl. Get that nice little sizzle there. This glass bowl was something that I was going to dispose of anyway, so it really wasn't that... I didn't care that much what would happen to it. Obviously, having a metal bucket would be better for this, but in this case, just using what I had on hand. So I wasn't sure at this point, did the copper heat, although it did get a nice bright red there, had it heated enough, almost purplish in fact, had it heated enough to the point where I would be able to then hammer it out or cool it off, right, and then hammer it out and have it. Look at this one, even more purple. The second one I did. This was actually another second round. So just to let everybody know, no nice copper rounds were harmed in the making of this video. This was these both were second rounds that I obtained quite cheaply from the Golden State Mint some time back. I think they were a little bit over $1 a piece, and they all have second stamped into them in like these sort of, I guess, dug into them in little dot matrix style little dots have been dug into the copper. So they're not they were by no means really nice specimens. But in fact, I got them knowing that someday I might use them for this purpose. So here I am. You know, it was really high. It was over 500 degrees. It was at the max there, even when I put the cover back on. Just to let you know, who knows exactly how hot it was, but it was hot enough to turn the copper rounds a bright reddish purple. And just to leave you in a little bit of suspense, they were, did they have the desired effect? This crucible remained very hot for some time. As you can see, when I placed it into a little bit of the water there, it would continue to steam. So, of course, keep that kind of stuff away. Use gloves. I was not always using gloves during the whole process. I did have to move quite quickly because I had some hungry family members waiting for some barbecue. So I was barbecuing some chicken sausages and some pork sausages as well later. And some chicken. I just threw that on magically. So, if you can kill two birds with one stone, I figured, hey, why not? I'll just use the chimney charcoal starter, throw my crucible in there while it's getting nice and hot, and it all worked out. The timing was great. And I've got my results here. in my little bowl, ready to go. Oh, and with my sausages. Chicken was still cooking, I think. And then I took one of these after it had cooled down over to my little Harbor Freight anvil and an Amazon steel ball peen hammer, and just started hammering it out, see what I could get. I had, and I wish I had recorded it, I did a little test later on here in the video, but I had actually tried the same thing with a standard, second marked copper round, again from the Golden State Mint, and I was unable to make this kind of progress. So, kind of giving away the results here. This annealed copper round, hammered out much easier. It was much easier to form it. I did not spend a long time doing this. I really just wanted to see, was there any difference? Would there be a difference after I heated these copper rounds up? Would it be enough temperature in the jet chimney charcoal starter to get the desired result? And the answer was a resounding yes. So I got what I wanted. I was able to hammer this very thin. Of course, you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, you could achieve the same result with a penny stretcher. But keep in mind that these things, if you've held a copper round, these things are tough. They are you're not, they talk about copper being a soft metal, but you can try to bend or shape a copper round before it's been annealed, and it's tough to work with. You could do it. You can make indentations. You can hammer it. You can hammer out the designs, for example. But it is not a fun process because you're having to put in, I don't know, I'd estimate 2 to 3 times the amount of work to get the same result, and you may not even be able to get quite as far. Now, it's good. It's a good thing to note that even with a standard smith, in the way you'd work if, say, you were a coppersmith. I am no expert, but it's worth noting that you'd repeat this process usually. You'd get your oxy-acetylene torch, and you'd heat up the copper again, and because every time you're hammering it, you're actually you're peening it, and you're making it stronger. So while you're stretching it out, while you're forming it, you are actually also making it harder and more brittle. So to avoid being sort of stuck with this piece that is brittle and hard and thin that you can't really do anything with, you can take it back and anneal it again. So the next time you cook out in the barbecue, you take your project rounds out there, or copper pipe, of course, which would be much easier to work with since it's thinner, and then just do it again. Go through the same process again, and then you've got an even easier, bigger piece to work with. So, of course, the question is, what would you like to see me do with these copper rounds? Now, on the very right-hand side, just for comparison here, I'm showing where I put a little bit of effort in the 2 ones on the right. That one on the right-hand side, the one I'm showing you right there, that's an example of hammering a round without any annealing involved. And I put that one down at the bottom. The one in the middle was one I just put minimal effort into hammering, just to show you a comparison. So the one in the middle and the one on the right were about the same amount of effort hammering, but obviously much different results. So you can see what I mean by about 2 to 3 times the effort. And this one, of course, I put the most effort in. I say I maybe hammered it for a couple of minutes, not much, just to see what I could get it to do. So again, what do you think I should do with these? Turn it into a fancy amulet. I can always planish it across a round surface after I anneal it next time. I can spread it out a bit more, anneal it, heat it, anneal it, and spread it out. But anyway, just wanted to prove that you could do something without having to have a fancy setup and, more importantly, fuel that might not be available after the apocalypse. Well, Charcoal and wood, of course, are most likely be available. Perhaps not the fancy charcoal we use, but yeah, another time I'll try it out in my fire pit with some regular firewood. In any case, that's all I had for today, folks. Until next time, it's Copper Mutant signing out.